My name is Marya Doery. I have a background in physics, but I currently work as a software developer. I do consulting work. And this is JB Rainsberger. Maybe could you tell us a little bit about yourself, JB?
Sure. Yeah, so JB Rainsberger, some people know me as JBrains. I'm an old extreme programming dude, and I am here in part because I want to learn a little bit more about what's going on in the rapidly changing world of software development, and to see what the intersection is between sort of what I know and what's possible. This is my attempt to get with the times. So we're going to see what happens here.
Okay, so JB, you have an app that you're interested in building, and I know that you've already started working on it.
Yeah.
And we had this discussion that it might be interesting to see if you could build this app using, pretty much as possible AI, all the AI tools that are out there, and, just see how fast it goes and how well it goes. See if you can get an actual working app, um, using the current tools, because why build it? And it takes months for you to build it. I don't know, because like you never get around
Well,
to it.
and I can even give you a little bit of a comparison. So I tried
Sure.
building this using Beware, which is a Python-based write it once, run it anywhere kind of platform. And my intention is to run it on Android because I have an Android phone. And I got something up and running that was pretty reasonable, was an MVP in the span of what probably would have been 2 or 3 days of like 8-hour days, dedicated. And that includes learning Python and learning Beware, which I was an extreme novice in Python and didn't know anything about Beware or the Toga UI toolkit. So that's also part of what this experiment is about is my experience trying to build Android apps is quite old. So I didn't want to jump into just building another Java application, which would probably feel comfortable but will go slow. So I'm curious
Yeah.
to see what other options are out there, what's changed, and what would be, how compatible is this really with the way that I like to build things and what I expect from my software projects.
Right. So my feeling is that, sometimes you want to write an application just because it's fun to write the software, and other times you just want the application to exist already
Yeah,
and you want to use it.
I'm pretty squarely in
So,
the second camp on this one, especially if I were going to go the route of Android and Java. That's boring. I could have used it as an opportunity to learn Kotlin more deeply, but I wasn't in the mood. I wanted to see what else was out there and what else could be done, and that's how I stumbled on Beware and Toga, and it sort of has a very GTK-like experience writing a UI in Python. So I thought, well, at least I'll learn some technology as I go. And it took like 120 commits or so to get to the point where I had a working app that was an MVP, and then and then I really had fun doing about another 160 commits of refactoring, so have a reasonable design and architecture for the software. That was where I learned the most Python and the most Toga. So
okay,
what do we got?
so the idea then, I think, would be first to ask ChatGPT, you would basically feed the requirements that you have to
Okay.
ChatGPT and ask it, what would it recommend? Like what technology stack? How would it recommend you proceed to build this app?
Okay.
Not
Would
necessarily to write the code, just the
Yeah.
sort of an advise act like it's
Right.
your
Okay.
advisor.
So before we do that, here's a really quick overview of what I'm trying to do.
Right.
So this is tallycount.app, which is actually pretty close to what I want.
Okay.
So I'm a bowler, and this app is to help me with practice sessions. And so the idea is that I do a drill where I throw 100 shots at the same target, and I can get a bunch of different results from each of those shots. So it doesn't really matter what those words and letters mean for now. All that really matters is they're different outcomes of a throw. So when I
Okay.
throw the ball, something can happen, and those are the outcomes. And like version 0 of the app was, let me find something out there that will just help me keep track of this instead of having to write it down and then tally it up later. which is how I found this lovely site tallycount.app, which allows
Okay.
me to create a bunch of little counters, and then I can go plus and minus. And that's nice, but the hard part is now getting information out of this. I can't track practice sessions over time, that kind of thing. So that gives you a really rough idea of what it is that I'm interested in building. I would
Okay.
like something that allows me to track my practice sessions, and I'm really making up the rest as I go along.
Okay.
So let's start talking to the great and mighty Oz and see what happens. So I'm at best an advanced beginning prompt designer. So I would like some suggestions here.
So I actually think this is really good because this is typically what a client like would, if a client's coming to me for, advice or whatever, they want to build some product, they'd probably come to me and I'd start, asking them questions or they start telling me what they want. So what I suggest you do is you're the client now. You
Yep.
tell ChatGPT what you're trying to do. Like I want to do, I want an app that will do X, Y, and Z,
Okay.
and you tell it that, and then say, do you need more information? Tell it, do you need more information to give me advice on how I should build this app? What tech stack should I use?
Okay.
Things like that.
All right. So
So
I know from my little bit of prompt design that giving it some context is usually helpful. So I can say,
yes.
let's see. So I am an experienced software developer who is not up to date on modern tools and languages. I am trying to build, let's see, I am building a mobile app to run on my Android phone, and I'm looking for advice on how to get started. How well do you understand so far? This is one of those things that I've been playing around with and sort of getting it to try to give me some understanding of what it's trying to do. And then, of course, it's going to blab.
Yeah.
So let's see what it blabbed. Right. Do I prefer to use Java or Kotlin? Am I planning to build for just Android? Do I want to use a cross-platform? Right. So, yes. Let's say.
So do you have a preference? Do you prefer just Android
I genuinely I'm very open to any technology stack that might work. Although I have significant experience in Java and would feel comfortable learning Kotlin from near the beginning. Let's see.
how about JavaScript? You have experience with PureScript, right?
Yes. Okay. I
You want
also
to let it
have
know that? Yeah.
significant experience in Ruby and some experience in JavaScript and JavaScript, PureScript, and Elm. So I think I'm going to answer all the questions in one go, or would you recommend that I not?
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I would be satisfied building this only for Android since I have no specific plans for distributing my app to others. But if it would be easy to make it available to others in the future, that might be helpful. I have some experience with cross-platform frameworks, with the cross-platform framework Beware, which had limitations that became obstacles pretty quickly. So I'm open to other choices, but would probably prefer native platform instead. Yes, I already have a firm MVP set of features and a few ideas for the next features after that.
Okay.
Oh, I actually gave it something to chew on. Let's see. So
Kotlin.
it's suggesting Kotlin.
Interesting.
It likes Kotlin because it's Java with some functional stuff. So it's
Right.
it appeals to my pure script side, which is maybe not wrong. Okay, so before we get into all of that, what do you make of ChatGPT's recommendations?
So I think that this is fine, and it's kind of traveling down the path that you're telling it to travel down.
Right.
The only problem that I have right now is that it hasn't actually pushed back on you to tell you what the features are that you want. So for example, if a client came to you and said, I want to build an app, and then kind of started talking to you about technology, you might say, well, hold on, let's talk about what features you want, because we want to make
Yes.
sure that a mobile app is actually suitable, right, for
Right.
your application. So I think that what you should do is now kind of push it back against it and say, like, these are the features that I want. Can we just make sure that those are compatible with these recommendations that you have?
That sounds interesting, but I don't think I want. Nope, I don't want to jump in to a particular technology stack. Oh, just yet. Let me tell you a little about the MVPs so that you can guide me further. Okay.
Okay, great.
So I'm building an app. Let's see. The app tracks tracks a handful of counters representing outcomes from a bowling practice session. The general idea is to track a single practice session by recording outcomes of throwing the ball, counting those, then publishing the session so that we can analyze practice sessions outside the app. The app would track a practice session history, meaning a list of past practice sessions, as well as help me record the current practice session, which involves recording outcomes of throwing the ball shot by shot. Let's see what it makes of that.
Okay. It's sucking up to you. That's a very clear MVP.
Yeah.
Great job. Okay.
And ChatGPT remembers that I'm a 5-pin bowler, and it's even using terms
very
that it's
nice.
seen me use before related to 5-pin bowling instead of 10-pin bowling.
Okay.
So, yes, ChatGPT might be a little bit overly primed from me having had conversations with it in the past, but maybe that's a good thing because that helps us out.
I just wanted to comment that I didn't think ChatGPT did a really good job of sort of extracting the requirements from JB at this point. It didn't really ask how he planned to get his session data into the app. So, one user might actually have a video recording of the session that was then processed in some way to extract the count of, the bowling statistics and then put it into the app. Or another user might have a hardware interface to the bowling alley, which is then used again to extract that data. In this case, it seems kind of like ChatGPT is just assuming that the data entry will be manual, but that's not so clear at all, I think. So you should really be careful when using ChatGPT to discuss requirements.
When I am taking a break to see how I'm doing. Excellent additions. Oh, thank you. I didn't ask you to evaluate them, but okay. Those features say a lot about your. This just sounds like a consultant sucking up to the client. Okay, so yes, and actually it's funny because this undo redo is the thing that I'm going to add next to the project that I've been working on, the Python one. But I already have show and hide working. So it's already trying to, mutable sequence of events and some persistent storage. Yes. So before going into the code,
it's already spewing out code for you.
I see that, yes. And one thing that I really like about this is it's reminding me to say this. So your comment, your response reminds me to mention that I would like, and let's see, I think I want a mobile app in order to use this, in order to, what's the word, I guess, track practice sessions without an internet connection,
right,
particularly because some bowling centers are in basements where the connection is not reliable. This app has to work offline. At least the record a practice session feature needs to be 100% available offline. I know I'm absolutely right to prioritize offline functionality. It's my app. So what must work offline? Let's see how accurate its list is. Recording shots, undo redo, toggling stats, view, and viewing past sessions stored locally. Yes. What can be deferred or synced later? Exporting, sharing data. Yes. Exporting data is another key feature because spreadsheets already exist and JQ already exists. So there's no need to build sophisticated analysis features into this app. I intend to do very basic aggregating in the app. For example, 27 strikes. But leave all further analysis to export to some combination of export to CSV and using a spreadsheet or a tool such as JQ or Jacques.
Are you planning to export into like a file on your phone and then somehow just you have a handy way to get your data off?
That was my idea, yes. And that was actually one of the areas where I got stuck with Beware because it is a multi-platform system. I was not able to get it to export CSV and save it to the device. I would have had to like upload it over the internet to something like, I use sync.com, but I suppose Google Drive or whatever. And that was just something that I was not urgent enough for me to, was neither urgent enough nor interesting enough for me to try to do. So now it has identified an export strategy. It has identified app private storage, which is interesting because I don't know how any of that stuff works in most platforms. Use the share intent, which I'm expecting. I'm like in a real advanced beginner in that. And it's even suggesting some JSON output. Nice. Okay, so there's lots and lots here. Maybe too much to read while we're recording video.
Right.
Does something stand out to you as something I haven't mentioned, or something that I should ask ChatGPT before we sort of take a break?
So that was the only thing that you just covered. The thing that I was thinking I wrote down here was the offline behavior.
Right.
The other thing that I would want to actually emphasize, to be honest, to start with, is I would actually want to focus on the export behavior first, because I want to make sure that whatever data I get actually is exportable
Right.
in
Yeah,
the
that's sort of
fashion
the
that I
biggest
want,
architecture risk, or the biggest technology risk here. That's the thing that we don't know
right?
how to make
I
it work.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that seems like a pretty good strategy to me. It also matches sort of how I tend to think about this stuff, especially now that I've had the experience of building it by hand once and getting stuck on the export part because I couldn't save to the device.
Yeah.
That's probably where I would go next in terms of treating this like a real, client project that I was getting paid for.
Yeah.
Because if I can't do that, then I can't do the rest.